Welcome to 5 Minutes of Good in April. And yes, we are physically on our own in ISO, but still able to connect via the World Wide Web. So thank you for joining me wherever you might be in the world. Yesterday was Palm Sunday, and I want to spend a little bit of time today talking about that. And maybe even if you're in the right time zone, if I upload this in time, maybe you might even still be in Palm Sunday. I hope that you are. So yay, happy Palm Sunday. But firstly, I want to check in for those who tuned in last week. How did you go with the questions that I asked you? I gave you a little challenge just to check in with yourselves, see how you're going. Maybe for the hyper spiritual amongst us, maybe you even brought those questions before God. So I asked, what are you excited about? What are you maybe feeling a little fear around? And in what area of your life do you want to flourish? So how'd you go with that? Let me know in the comments if that was helpful for you, or if you did it, or whatever the case may be. But Palm Sunday. So some of you will be intimately aware of Palm Sunday and know all of the details far more than I do. But others of you may just be grappling with the whole Easter concept. What's it all about? Palm Sunday kicks off what we in church world call Holy Week, which is the Easter week. Now, most of you would have heard of the 12 days of Christmas, mostly thanks to the song featuring a partridge in a pear tree. Well, the same thing with Easter. Easter celebrations aren't just for one day, they kind of go for a week or more. And most of us in Australia actually really know that quite well because we get pretty good public holidays here in Australia over Easter. Most people go away for Easter. They normally go to the beach or maybe down the river. And I've got to be honest, while they're going away and spending time with their family, which is really, really nice, normally they're not going away to be immersed in Holy Week. They're going away to go swimming and have barbecues and camping and just relax, basically. And on Sunday, there might be a chocolate egg hunt, and that is about as close as most Australians get to Holy Week all Easter long. But this year, guess what? Everyone has to stay home. Sad times. So I want to tell you a bit about Easter, about Palm Sunday in particular. It kicks off the events which lead to Jesus' death and resurrection, which is the very linchpin of the Christian faith. So it's actually really exciting. Palm Sunday is really exciting. Jesus' central message on earth was love God with all your mind, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself the same way. So love God and love your neighbor. And through what happens at Easter time, Jesus is demonstrating that love in the most mammoth of ways, which I think is the most good that you could possibly have in the whole entire earth. So Jesus, just to give you a bit of background, Jesus had been around for a little while, preaching and teaching and gaining followers, not followers on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, but actual real followers. He was a traveler and he traveled, so he had these disciples around him. He was actually a Jewish rabbi, but he is essentially the savior that all the Jewish people had been hearing about, that had been prophesied about for generations and generations and generations. For hundreds of years, the Jewish people had been hearing about this savior that was coming to the earth, and he is about to fulfill that prophecy. So Jesus is on his way to a town called Jerusalem to celebrate for a Jewish celebration. And he's been telling his disciples that something is about to happen. He's giving them the heads up that something is about to happen. And they don't really know how that's going to happen. They have an idea. They're wrong. But they're getting excited. They're finding out what he's coming into Jerusalem. Something is about to happen. And if you want to read the whole story, I recommend you check out Luke chapter 19. The story is in several different books of the Bible, but that's a good one. So essentially what happens is he asks two of his disciples to go get a donkey. Basically, he goes and tells them to go take that guy's donkey over there. He somehow knows, he's been traveling around, I don't know how he knows, but he somehow knows that there's a donkey over there. He says, go get that donkey for me. And that donkey is actually really important for fulfilling some of the prophecies that have been talked about for hundreds of years. That donkey is really important because it not only fulfills the prophecy, but it also tells a story and symbolizes that this Son of God, this King of Kings, this king is not here to start a war. He is here to come in peace. And so Jesus rides this donkey into Jerusalem, and that very act is a fulfillment of the ancient prophecy. But then as he's going into Jerusalem, people are getting excited. They're hearing the word of mouth. They don't have Twitter and Instagram. So the word is spreading, and they are putting down their cloths, and then they're also putting out palm branches. Yes, and that's where we get Palm Sunday from. So they are putting down their palm branches, and they're getting so excited as he gets closer and closer to Jerusalem. They are yelling out. They are so excited. They are saying, Hosanna. They are saying, blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest. They are so excited that he's here. Yes. And that is another fulfillment of another prophecy. And as he approaches Jerusalem, he sees the city and he starts to cry because he knows that Easter is coming. He knows what is about to take place. Easter week, Holy Week, whatever you want to call it, is a roller coaster of emotions. From Jesus being praised as the King of Kings to his ultimate trial, crucifixion, and death. And then his final resurrection. He comes back to life. This is the greatest love story you have ever heard. And while we are all going on our own Corona roller coaster right now for many different reasons, the most good you are going to hear is that no matter what goes on in our lives, Easter still happened. Palm Sunday tells us Easter is coming, and it's a very, very good story. Bye.